Okay, Chris. So we're gonna title this section the two third rules of Google Ads Management because I will not agree to have your rules here be the third
Okay,
rule.
let me lay out my case.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You better admit I'm right when I bring up
Okay, you
something
can
to the
no.
table here. You
I
better admit I'm
I
right
love
because
these
if
kind
you
of shows.
don't,
I love the.
if you don't, it's just disgusting, quite
I'm
frankly.
gonna
Because
chop
you know
that
I'm correct.
pineapple down. I'm gonna chop the crown right off that pineapple, and then drink the sweet inside. Okay. Priority number 3
Don't
is
tell me this.
segments. Okay, segmentation of the
God.
data.
Oh
So you
my
get
God.
into you've done your bids.
Mhm.
You've done your quality of traffic for whatever the heck we've decided that is now. But anyway, you're now happy with the quality
Clearly,
of traffic.
it's subjective down to the user. Is that what I just said?
Yes.
Yes.
No,
Okay.
I don't. You said I don't
What did
know
you say?
exactly.
Okay, go ahead.
So now you can start focusing on the secondary bid levels of Google Ads. You can start looking at devices. You can start looking at ad schedule, audiences, demographics, locations, things like that. You can start itemizing these things and analyzing, okay, how are the locations performing? Which devices could I potentially adjust? Now, the point of the whole show, Jason, is to say that these 3 things should not be out of order. So,
Sure.
just going to the core of the show, do
Sure.
you think? I don't think you disagree with me here. You don't think that segmentation bids or anything like that should be above quality of traffic?
Of course
Correct?
not. No, of
Okay.
course not. No.
Okay, so to be very clear for those listening, that is not something that you should be doing. You should not be looking at devices and ad schedule if you don't have the right kind of quality of traffic. If you don't have your bids and your budget set, if those are waffling back and forth and going crazy, that is not where you want to be.
Okay.
Segmentation is extremely powerful because you can make decisions about, if you're B2B. I do a lot of B2B business, and I can tell you computers are very important, but I don't want to make that decision until I at least have the quality of traffic nailed down. And
Talking about devices.
Devices.
Yeah.
Is that what I said? Oh, yeah. Sorry. I said
computers.
computers.
Computers versus mobile. Show where you're at.
Yeah. Thank you. So, Jason, I'm very curious. What would you...
My third rule of Google Ads Management? Yeah. So I'm very curious how you're going to respond to this.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Okay.
That segments...
Well, thanks, guys, for listening to the show. We will be...
We can end it there. I would advise you to end it there if I were you.
Okay, here we go.
Of course, and I agree with you, segments and segmenting that data and making decisions on devices, demographics, ad schedule, locations, and all the things you can do inside of a Google Ads account. Search partners versus the Google Search Network.
Yes.
All that stuff. Super important. But the question is, how do you judge how those two things, how those various segments are working? How do you judge their performance? And the answer is the third rule of Google Ads Management, which is to get your conversion tracking in place.
But
watch them wiggle. Watch them squirm.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to squirm a little because this is about management. I'm not talking about metrics. I'm talking about actions that you can take. You can't take the action of getting conversions.
Yeah. Okay.
You get conversions. I feel like you reached outside the box and brought in a stranger in our couple here, and now there's 3 of us, and it's weird.
Thruple?
Yeah. I didn't know that word. I'm glad you knew it.
You didn't know about thruple?
The only person I've ever heard say it is you, and I don't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Google it.
I'm not going to do that.
Chris, I mean, I feel strongly about this. I think conversions are so powerful, and I think they're so much more powerful these days because it's not just a search terms game anymore. Back in the day when we had control over search terms more than we do now, when we could see every search term, which we can't do now, and when we had control, when our freaking ad copy did not influence the searches that we show up on, which is, days. I love it, but it's the weird, strange world we live in now. When we were not having to deal with all that, then you could just look at the search terms and go, oh yeah, I know the search term's going to bring in more leads than this other one because that's the way it works. But in today's era, I need that crutch. I need those bumpers on my bowling lane. And what came first, the elk or the antlers?
What?
Look over your right shoulder. That is kind of a good one. What did come first, the antlers or the elk? Like
that? No. No, you can't reinvent chicken and the egg. That's the only one that works. I mean, you could say bird in the egg, I guess, or
Do you think?
lizard in the
Yeah,
egg.
yeah.
But
Now, Chris, I mean, seriously. I mean,
you're
seriously.
right. You're
I'm just tired of the conversations. I really am. Of like, hey, we think mobile's working better, or hey, we think this landing page is working better than the website, or hey, we think the top income's working better. Like, I really, those conversations are so guiding you to just nowhere land. And I
mhm.
really, really just want results. I want people to make money, and I want businesses to grow, especially in an economy like this where people are scared and tightening up and they're worried. I want people to have confidence in their advertising. And I think, and listen to my words carefully, Chris, I'm not talking about conversion tracking. I'm talking about rule number 3 is getting all of your conversion tracking in place correctly. Like no holes and no loops here, because you really can track all sources of leads. And I was going to say something about different features on sites, but I'm not going to go down that road that are hard to track by conversion tracking that may not be doing much for you. But we're just not going to talk about that. But Chris,
I think
the
you're right.
one I'm going to give you an out here. Like, I'm bowling with bumpers, so therefore I'm going to give you an out, and I'm going to let your little out be that, well, the stuff that you do once you have perfect conversion tracking in place, or accurate conversion tracking, fully accurate conversion tracking in place, is that then you do make these decisions
Yes.
that come with segmenting your data. But if I'm not giving you an out, I'm saying that's rule number 4. If I'm giving you an out, we can say it's a co-rule number 3. But the truth is, the truth is the egg came before. No, the truth is the egg came before the chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And then the truth is that conversion tracking comes before segmenting out your data. Because what the heck is the point of segmenting out your data if you don't have conversion tracking? It just is the truth, Chris. And you're like a great guy. You're not a perfect guy. I'm not a perfect guy. No one's perfect. And you got this one wrong. And I think you're a reasonable guy, so I think you'll admit that here on the show publicly. Did you get it wrong? Have you been a bad boy? Do you want to say you're sorry?
No, I did not get it wrong. Like I said, you reached outside the box of management. Setting up conversions is not an active management thing. It is a singularity setup.
Oh, it definitely is a singularity thing. Singularity. I wonder why Larry's still single. A singularity thing.
It's a.
How you doing out there, Larry? A singularity thing.
I can't. Okay.
Why can't Larry smells? That's why he can't get a date. It's a singularity thing.
Singularity.
Larry interrupts when he has a conversation.
How do you say it? Say it right.
It's a singularity thing. Singularity. I can't say that
no.
word, Chris. But I'm man enough to admit it here, Chris. You're not man enough to admit that you got priorities 3 and 4 mixed up, and that's why you're lucky you do a show with me. And I'm lucky I do a show with you because we check each other. We make each other better here, Chris.
Conversion setup is part of the setup. It's not management. So
it's management. People change websites on you. Codes fall off.
No, that's setup part 2.
Conversion tracking is so fundamental to success in Google Ads these days.
This is a good checklist.
Constant.
This is the perfect 3 rules for management, ongoing management. Conversion tracking is not ongoing management.
No, because if you're just going to start assuming everything's in place, and let's just assume search terms are perfect. Let's just assume this is the budget we should be running, and we should look at search impression share lost due to budget.
You know,
no, I'm not.
No.
Chris, what did I just say about the pineapple?
Contrary.
No, I don't. No, are you not listening to me? I have a problem being contrary, Chris, and I'm working on it. Okay, I'm working on it. You should be happy. I'm working on it.
You're doing great.
No, Chris, I'm not going to let you do this to me, Chris. I'm not going to let you do this to me. I'm not going to go along to get along. I told you I was retired from that, and I just will not accept that rule number 3 should be segmenting out your data and looking at the data over rule number 4 in your world, which is conversion tracking, or it's not even a rule, which is just nuts. And I'm right. And your Q score would be so much higher if you would just accept it and admit you're wrong sometimes.
My lack of words does not imply that you're correct. It's just because I use fewer words to make my point. And my point does not need the backup of a million words. It just needs
So let's say you look at that segment data and you've never, because I'm just managing. I don't do conversion. I'm just managing. And you never took the time to realize that you're only tracking calls from ads. Then you're making bad decisions, Chris. Oh, you're going to hit something? You feel better? It's not as funny when you do it. It's really, it's just
No, it's
flat.
not,
There's no
'cause you don't-
sounds. There's no crashing. Yeah, your timing's off. Don't do that. It's not you. You work it out in CrossFit and on Goldfish. And
yeah.
lately, you've been doing more of the stress management on CrossFit than the Goldfish. But we see you yo-yo. You know, we see you go up and down on those Goldfish.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. You tell yourself, I'm just going to get one fistful, just one fistful for a snack. I'm going to be reasonable. I'm going to put it in my bowl.
No, we don't buy it.
But then you go back for more because you can't control yourself. That's
We
why
don't
you don't
buy
buy
it
it
at the house.
Yeah, because it's a totally separate thing. It's not even part of this management. It's a totally separate thing. Conversion tracking. Are you out of your mind, Chris?
Okay. That is, I'm exhausted. That's all I have to say.
No. I'm going to give you an out here. I'm going to give you an out. Chicken or the egg. What good is conversion tracking if you don't do something with it? And I get your point here that it's not just about search terms. It's not just about conversion tracking. It's not just about your bidding. There's so many nooks and crannies of a Google Ads account that you can get explosive performance from. Chris, incomes, ages. I mean, we don't do it a lot because we leave our audiences typically on observation. Relax, buddy. I'm looking at the clock here. Relax. I'm just trying to give you an out here and go through the reasoning. But there's so many times where like we leave our audiences on observations and we don't decide to just target one or two audiences with our keywords. But depending on the size of your keyword base, like what kind of industry you're advertising in and how big your budget could be. Like, Chris, I do a lot of local service businesses. Usually there's not a lot of budget that we're missing. You know what I mean? Like it's a pretty fixed market. There's only so many people in Biloxi, Mississippi searching for a moving company on that day. But if you're advertising for like a B2B software and you're targeting the grand United States all over the country and your budget is $3,000 a month and the actual volume you could be spending is like $30,000 a month, you've got your pick of the corner where you want to show up on the pick of the market. And you could just target one or two audiences with your keywords. Right. And that's all you do. You could just target a certain income. You can just target a very small location and you actually could do really, really a lot better depending on how that data performs, including, let me just run one more by you, Chris, here. Device bidding. Do you find yourself, and Chris, I want to do a little show within a show here because I want to come back together. I want to make a little love. I want to just I want to apologize to you. I mean, I went hard, you went hard, but I really feel strongly about conversion. And you told me that's what you wanted. You told me you like the punishment, you like the pain. So you said before the show, you said don't go easy on me.
I liked the debate, not the railroad.
The railroad. What railroad are you talking about?
The railroad of words.
Yeah, maybe if you had something to come back with conversion tracking. But
I did. Okay, it's fine.
Okay, so Chris, let me ask you seriously, because I want to give an example of how powerful your rule number 3 could be, your segments could be. Seriously, how powerful could it be? And I'm asking you for your genuine advice here. Have you found yourself in spots where, because the way the website is set up, because of the kind of industry you're advertising on, the computer performance at the device level is drastically different than the mobile device performance at the device level? Computer versus mobile, desktop versus mobile. Some cases one's really better than the other. Some cases the other one's really better. Have you found yourself in spots where you either are tempted or fully have turned off one of the devices and totally spent your full budget on just one device?
Yes.
Have you done that recently?
Yes.
And was everything okay?
Yes.
Okay. I have found myself being tempted to do that more and more because I am seeing in some spots a very, very clear distinction between the performance, and I don't want to play games anymore. I just want to spend the full budget that we can spend on the best performing device and not really wonder, why is most of the conversions coming from this device? I just want to get those conversions. Do you think that's valid?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And if you're on the campaign view and you segment by devices, you can actually see your search impression share by device in that view. So I can actually see my mobile search impression share.
I'm going to get you a hammer, the man with the hammer. Everything is a nail. You love search impression share.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the best metric.
No, in this case, you're right. Could we spend our full budget on just mobile?
If I'm at 20% search impression share on device, then that tells me that I have tons of potential because I might have 70% on computer, and I realize, oh wow, I have tons more I can get on mobile.
And I would say that shows you the power of not only the segments, but the power of conversion tracking, because you can get those powerful insights. And then it takes a very skilled and disciplined manager to go with the numbers and say, no, you know what? It feels a little weird to turn off desktop, but you know what? I'm going with the numbers. And when you have confidence in your numbers, confidence with the conversion tracking, that's when you can actually make like all-star decisions like that and go, no, we only have a fixed pool budget. We can spend it all on this better performing device. Let's do it. And I'm confident in that data because I have the data. That's my point. That's all my point is, Chris.
Yeah.
That's all my point is with conversion tracking. I didn't mean to railroad you, Chris. I don't know if you want a little EV, a little speedster, a little roadster. What do you want me to drive next time, Chris? I'm not trying to railroad anybody here, Chris. I'm trying to pursue a great podcast here with you. Yeah. You know?
Okay. So segments. So the last priority number 3 is segments based on conversion data.
And that's all I'm asking for. I just want a little influence of conversion tracking, because I can't live in a world where the 3 rules of Google Ads management don't include conversion tracking, because I don't want to live in that world, Chris, because it's so easy to make that mistake. It's a little hard to work with your developer. You know, you send them the code, put this code in the head section of all pages. You get paid professionally to do this. I'm confident you can just copy code and then go to the head section of the page.
You're not going to
get
this
pages
wrong
on the site,
surely,
and then hit Command V and paste it in there. Like I could do it myself if I knew how to get to a head section of the website. I don't, but you do, because you get paid professionally to do this, and then you go back and forth 15 times, and then you end up just getting analytics on the site and doing the new conversion tracking with Google Ads, which is pretty cool, and say track when people land on this page. But Chris, it's so easy not to deal with conversion tracking, that, and people just, they want to ramp up and run, and I get it, but it's so powerful, Chris. It's powerful that I just wanted to have a little respect in your top 3 rules. That's all I want.
Okay.